Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Walking Dead video. So I want to actually focus on the Walking Dead final season and talk about this teaser that came out that actually looks really incredible. Honestly, I saw people tagging me in it. I didn't really give it a chance because I saw the first I don't know, 20, 30 seconds. And I was like, I swear to God, I've seen this before. I've seen Eugene look up like that. I've seen Daryl do that. Like, this has to be something that was reused and they just kind of changed it to red because I swear I've seen this before. But man, today I actually finished it. Like, I watched the whole thing and holy crap, this is such an incredible teaser. Like, there's so much stuff in here. Just the visuals of it in general, it really does it shows where we're going here. And I'm really, really excited for where this final season is going to go. And I just like the visuals, especially this one here where you see the last episodes and it says The Walking Dead, there's a moon or whatever, and you see the clock. And so anyways, before we go any further, obviously make sure to be a subscriber if you do want more Walking Dead content like this. Also tonight on Twitch, I'm going to be staying up because I want to watch the new episode of Tales of the Walking Dead episode 2. So definitely go follow me on Twitch. We're going to do this live sort of watch party kind of thing or live reaction, Q&A, whatever. And yeah, I'm excited because I'm really excited for this episode because we're returning to Atlanta 2010. And so I want to see what that's going to be like, right? We've only watched one episode so far. It's kind of hard to say what Tales of the Walking Dead is going to be like. As of now, is the show going to be as great as The Walking Dead? Or anything like that? Probably not, because I don't think that it's really intended for that. This is just a show of random stories, right? And you just kind of watch whatever one you like. Honestly, some of them you might not even like, but some of them you might like. There's gonna be weird episodes in here. There's gonna be very weird and messed up episodes. But I think that this is gonna be one of those shows that when you look back on in 10 years, you're gonna be able to rewatch it all because it's kind of like Creepshow or The Twilight Zone. To be honest, I always go back to those things because Twilight Zone did have some amazing acting, but some of the episodes not necessarily, and some of the writing was a little bit off, and you do have some episodes that just are really just boring. But when you don't have any more Twilight Zone content to consume anymore, you go back and you just kind of, you learn to find things to like about things like that. And I think Tales of the Walking Dead is going to be one of those shows. I'm not saying it's going to be as big as a Twilight Zone. I'm not saying that at all, because obviously the Twilight Zone is different. I'm just kind of comparing it. It really feels like it's that type of show, right? The Monster of the Week type of episodes or whatever, X-Files used to have, or Tales from the Crypt, right? So I'm excited to watch episode 2, and so that's going to be, that's airing tonight, and so I'll definitely be live on Twitch later on tonight. And as well, I was actually thinking, because we are going into the last it's less than 2 months now, right? It's a month and a half almost until the premiere of the final season. And so I was actually thinking, because I have done a rewatch series. I never finished it. I got at some point in season 2, maybe I was closer to season 3. I was actually thinking about picking up on some of those episodes and maybe just kind of bouncing around a little bit throughout the seasons. And so if you would like to see that and see, reviews on certain episodes and whatnot, I wouldn't mind actually going back to doing some of that and just having a couple out, come out a week, just kind of building up to the final season here. And so maybe I could start off with season 3. Honestly, I don't even have to really stick with just going in chronological order. I can start off with season 7 or something like that. I really wouldn't mind going back and reviewing just some older episodes and just sort of giving some more thoughts on wow, we used to think this then, or this and that, you know what I mean? Yeah, because I would like to do something, I want to rewatch something with The Walking Dead, and it's honestly been kind of hard to rewatch it. Mostly because, Rick left and I knew we were getting the movies. It's just that the clarification on not knowing when they were coming out was something that it was kind of hard to go back and rewatch, because it was hard to get excited about something because we wanted to know when it was coming out. And now we know it's going to be a television series and that it's going to be multiple seasons. And so that right there makes me super, super excited for all of it. And now going back to rewatching it, knowing that we're going to be getting Rick next year, it's I can watch those scenes with Rick and not feel so sad. You know what I mean? So I'm really excited for it. Honestly, I'm really excited. I think I have to get some new Walking Dead merch or something like that, because I want to go all out here for these last 8 episodes. So again, we get this teaser here where we have all this dialogue and, you just kind of go through all of it. A lot of it really is generic stuff that I think you can kind of put anywhere throughout the timeline, right? You can probably add this to season 3 or 5 or 8, 7 or whatever, and, it's going to make sense. But to me, what I really like about it is it's certain shots that really just kind of look really awesome. There's a shot of Maggie here, and it's just really cool to see Maggie just kind of here again on the show, because she did leave for a bit. But like, just thinking of the evolution of the character, it honestly is really incredible. And just thinking of where she's going next as well, I'm really excited to see where her character is going to go, because we actually have a shot towards the end here where you kind of have everyone together, and it looks like she's kind of the leader of everything. And so it's interesting that you have Maggie in a position like that, but it also does make a lot of sense, just because if you look at the comic, that's kind of what she is, right? Like she does eventually become the president of the Commonwealth. And so it's kind of cool to see something like this. You have Maggie there, Daryl and Negan behind her. You have Carol and so forth. And so, yeah, I mean, it's just really cool to see this. And a lot of the visuals of the trailer really do just show the Commonwealth kind of on fire. Like it's really coming down to this. And I will say, I think that's one of the things that I hope that the final season eventually starts to get right. And that is kind of celebrating the whole series, right? Because obviously you have to focus on the Commonwealth arc. But I think The Walking Dead right now is kind of suffering from something that the comics suffered from, which was the Commonwealth arc is kind of boring, right? Like when you compare it to the Whisperer arc. And on the show, there, Lance has made it a little bit more exciting. And there's some exciting stuff here. But I think from my point of view, what's really exciting about it is the possible connections to the CRM, right? And because if you remember, Gimple did make those comments before, like they asked, or he said something like, well, we'll see how they know of each other, or they do know of each other, we'll see how, or something like that. I can't remember exactly what he said, but it was on Talking Dead. We've all talked about that. There's quotes online and stuff like that. You can go look it up, but it really hinted that they know of each other and we're going to see how. And then he was kind of like, oh yeah, I guess that's kind of spoilery. And we never found out how in part 2 at all. So obviously in part 3, that's going to be something that we find out. There's all the Tyler Davis mystery stuff. There's those coordinates that Connie, wanted to go investigate further. I think it makes a lot of sense. And so that stuff there makes the Commonwealth arc more exciting and actually gives it more of a purpose and fits the overall story, because that's kind of where we're going afterwards, right? With the Rick and Michonne television show, Isle of the Dead and the Daryl spinoff and just all of that. It makes a lot of sense. And so I hope that that's where the Commonwealth arc is going, right? There's going to be some stuff with like leadership stuff with Pamela Milton, this and that. But I hope some of that CRM stuff becomes like a big part of it too, just because, again, in the comic, I think when the Commonwealth arc came up, it was really exciting because it's just super cool to see this. But then eventually it was like, where the hell are we going with this? It just kind of seems boring. And like now we're at this community that has, it's so safe here. And then it ended out of nowhere. And so that's why, to me anyways, I think in these last 8, because you want to continue go into this expanded universe where you're bringing Rick and Michonne back and you're going to go into this whole other thing. I think they need to make more, or make this matter a lot more. And I think there's a really awesome opportunity to do that, to make the Commonwealth arc worth it. Because if in the end we do see that it's connected to the CRM, there's some stuff with Rick here, then, upon rewatching years down the road, once we get to the Commonwealth arc, we know that it's going to be something that builds to the Rick stuff, right? And so it makes it more exciting. And so that's kind of one of my things that I hope that we do get to here with the Commonwealth arc. I think it's super important. We do have this badass shot here of Pamela Milton. This just looks super, super cool. I mean, it's really cool that we just have her now on the show, right? Like, I remember for a while, we were always talking about like, who's going to be playing her? What is she going to look like? We were waiting for these like first photos and all of that. And now we just have her on the show. We also have this shot here. I don't know who this is. I have no idea who this is, but it looks like they're screaming into a microphone. So I actually wonder if maybe this is during some of the protests and all that, and maybe this character is a nothing character, and it's just sort of a background character that just decides to start yelling and all of that. We do have a shot here of Lance. Obviously, this was from... Where was this from? Like, I'm talking about Lance specifically, because obviously he was cropped out of the shot and just sort of thrown on here. I'm pretty sure it was in part 2. It might have even been in episode 9, like the very first episode. I do wonder when we're going to get more stuff to talk about, regarding the final season. I mean, there's still so much to break down from the trailer. There's a lot of stuff that I haven't talked about yet in that. And I will say, just regarding what I just kind of said too about, like, I'm hoping the Commonwealth has more connection to the Civic Republic and stuff. I actually do think we are going to get that a lot more. I do think they're actually going to start to get into that. And not even that, like, there seems to be a lot more focus on the Grimes story and our character stories overall. Just because, like, I'm thinking of a shot of, like, Daryl and Judith, and some of the stuff with Daryl holding Rick's gun. Like, there's a lot of stuff there. They're also kind of, I mean, if you think about it, they're introducing a new zombie threat. That alone is something that is super exciting, I think, because that's sort of going back to, the beginning of all of it, right? And reintroducing the walkers from season 1. And then just sort of what does that do now? Does that change your just or how you survive and stuff? I'm just really hoping there's going to be some CRM stuff. And honestly, I will say as of now, it doesn't really seem like it's impossible. Like, it actually seems extremely possible just because we know that Rick television show is coming out next year. I think before all the Rick news came out, it really felt like anything with the Civic Republic or anything like that was like just a dream. Like, we all wanted it to happen, but it was never going to happen. Well, now that we know the show's coming out next year, all 3 shows are coming out next year. Like, it's kind of one of those things where I'm like, well, when do you get into it? Like, when are our characters going to learn about them? It's kind of now, right? It's kind of here at the end. So yeah, I'm definitely really excited for all that. So just post your thoughts down below on this teaser here and your thoughts on, if you do want some CRM connection. And, I think some people might not want that as well. I think some people might just want to focus on the Commonwealth story. Just focus on that. Just end it just as is. So yeah, definitely post your thoughts down below. Hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.